Hi, everyone. This is Dan here, the TD for the Online Open. I just wanted to make a quick video explaining the new process for how we'll be handling rounds 2, 3, and 4 of the Online Open. Just to be clear, we won't be using Baduk Club for these future rounds. Unfortunately, the issues we experienced yesterday, we're not confident that we can fix them for the remaining rounds in time. So we're going to be falling back on the kind of manual process that we used in last year's Open. So I'm going to show you how to go ahead and do that. The first thing you want to do is make sure you are signed into OGS. I have them signed in here on my test account, and that you are a member of the American Go Association group. So if you're on the main OGS page here, you can join that group by two ways. You can get to the groups tab either by going up here on the top or on this link on the right. Here you can just search for the AGA, American Go Association. Find this group page and just join it here. On this page, you'll find a ton of useful information. There's a bunch of static links here at the top with information to the broadcast schedule, the main schedule for the tournament, all other tournament information, including some information about the US Open. Also, at these news cards, these get updated regularly. You can tab through them here and see updates for various events. And the current one is for rounds 2 and 3 of the EGO Open. And here you can find a bunch of useful information about the tournament. The main page you want to check out is this tournament page here. This is the EGO Open tournament page on the Go Congress website, and this will include all the information that you need to play in the Online Open. About 45 minutes before the start of the round, what I'll be doing is posting a link to a pairing sheet here, and I'll also be dropping a link to the pairing sheet in this box here, as well as in the chat here. Once that pairing sheet is linked, I'll try to do that about 45 minutes before the start of the round. It will look something like this. It's just a PDF. It will be on Google Drive that everybody can access, and it will have a few pieces of information that are necessary for you to get started. First, it will give you your table number here on the left. It will show which player is playing white, which player is playing black, and any handicap you might be playing at. We're playing this tournament at handicap with rank -2, so that means the vast majority of games will not receive any handicap. And just a note on this pairing sheet, this is a test pairing sheet from round 4 for last year. This is not accurate for this year, so please don't try to look at this and get a head start on who might be playing who. This is not accurate for this year's tournament. This pairing sheet is listed generally in order of rank, so you'll have your strongest players at the top all the way down to the lower boards. So if you want to find yourself, you can do that in two ways. You can either find the location on the sheet that corresponds with your playing rank, or you can actually just search this form for your name. So let's say my name was Messi. I could find myself here. You see it highlighted my name here at board 67. And then I could go ahead and see who my opponent is. So let's say my opponent is Eric Osman. What I want to do once I know who my opponent is go back to OGS, and I can search for them by navigating to the top left menu here and just starting to type in their name. So you can see that as I begin to type in their name, accounts with similar names will begin to appear, so please be sure you search for the full name of your opponent. If they have any special characters in their name, such as a emoji or characters like this here, you can just copy and paste from this sheet. And as always, if you have any difficulties finding your opponent, please send me a message and I will try to get this sorted out with you. Once you've found your opponent, you can go ahead and contact them. You can just send them a message and ask them if they're ready to play, or you could issue them a challenge directly if the round is ready to start. I'm going to show you with my own account here how to go through the game creation process. So for my test account, let's say I'm playing my TD account here. I'm going to message them and just be like, I already used this earlier, but hey, I think you are my opponent for this round. They'll receive that message and they can respond, yes, I am, let's play. Great, they're ready to play. Okay, I'm going to issue them a challenge. I can do that through the chat box right here just by pressing this button, but I can also do it through the hamburger menu search here. If I find their name, I can click on it and then just issue them a challenge this way. Once you get to this box, please make sure to set these game settings correctly. You can find a description of all of the settings for the game here on the tournament page. But also you can find a screenshot that is linked here, as well as in various places on the OGS information cards. So I'll walk you through how to set this game up appropriately. You can set the game name to whatever you want, but to help us as TDs, it would be nice if you could add some description, such as round 2, board, let's say on board 999. We don't have that many boards, but this is just a test. Very important, this game should not be set to private. If the game is private, it will be impossible for the TDs to validate the results of this match, which will slow down our results validation process and possibly interfere with pairing for the next round. Also make sure this is not ranked. This is ranked for OGS or not, and we don't want these games ranked on OGS because this is specific to the tournament. Board size 19 by 19, of course. Rule sets will be AGA. The game speed is live. Time control is Byo-Yomi. Each player will have 1 hour of main time and 5 periods of 30-second Byo-Yomi. Handicap, check the pairing sheet for what your handicap might be. Again, that will be listed here in this right-hand column, and for most games it will be 0. Komi, set it to automatic. This is 7.5 points for white in an even game according to AGA rules, and will be 0.5 points for white in a handicap game. Also, please be sure to check your color on the pairing sheet if you are the one issuing the challenge. So in this sample, let's say that I am the black player and I'm issuing the challenge. Very important, please disable analysis. This will help us make sure that these games are played in good faith and openly and transparently. So please make sure that this button is disabled. So I'm going to go ahead and send this challenge to my opponent. So I'm waiting for them to accept it. I'm going to accept it on my other account.
Game started.
Great, so the game has started. I'm just going to play a few test moves here. Play this, maybe white plays Tengen, and this scares me, so I resign. Very sad. I do not like
White wins.
to play against Tengen, even though the AI did not like it. So once the game is done, to report results, it's a pretty simple process. Please first just copy this URL. At the very top. This will allow anybody with access to this URL can open up this game file, and this will allow the TDs to easily validate the result of this game, as well as check in on any issues that may have occurred if there are any issues. So to report the result of this game, you can find the report submission form, or the result submission form, here on the tournament page through the Go Congress website. It will also be listed in the information cards on the OGS room. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that form through here. You can use any email you want, but if you give me a valid email, it will be easier for me to follow up in case there are any issues. Please select the appropriate round for the tournament. My board number, let's say it's 999. The name for the white player, I think that was DCPA 4321, not Dan for black. And let's say white wins because I was afraid of Tengen for the opening. Copy and paste the URL here, and this will allow the TDs to easily validate the result. If your opponent no-shows, please just write no-show here. Reminder that your opponents have 20 minutes to show up after the start of a round, and if they don't show up after 20 minutes, they automatically forfeit. If your opponent does not show up, please fill out this results submission form. This will really speed up our process of validating results between the 2 rounds today, so we can get round 3 pairs out on time. You can add any special notes for the TD here if something wacky happened or whatever, but you don't need to add an answer here, but I'll just add no notes just for the sake of it. And then you can go ahead and just submit this off, and this will go to the TDs. Once that is done, you're all set. You can just sit back and relax and wait for the next pairs to come out. After the round has finished and I've had a chance to validate all the results, I'll post standings to this page here. One more note on no-shows. If your opponent no-shows, this is unfortunately the biggest challenge that we face in an online tournament like this. Last year we had a no-show rate of about 10 to 15% per round. If your opponent no-shows, I'm going to be making a note and I'll be dropping them from the remaining rounds of the Open in an attempt to reduce the number of no-shows that we have. If you no-show without contacting me ahead of time and you want to get back into the tournament, please send me an email and I'll try to get you back into the tournament for future rounds. After 20 minutes, if your opponent no-shows, you can send me a message and I will try to repair you with somebody of an appropriate strength. However, I can't make any promises that I'll be able to do this. It's going to depend on my bandwidth and on whether or not there are other players who had no-show opponents who are around your strength to play. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at open@gocongress.org.